Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, pull up a chair, because the stories we share in this community hit close to home for a lot of people. We talk about real families, real heartbreak, and the complicated, messy, beautiful thing called love. Today's story comes from a grandmother, a woman who has given everything: her time, her energy, her savings, her heart to make sure her grandchildren have what they need. And just when she thought things were finally starting to look up, she got a text message that stopped her cold. A text from her daughter-in-law. A text that started with gratitude and ended with something that felt like a door being slammed shut. Before we dive in, if you've ever felt pushed out of your own family, if you've ever given and still found yourself on the outside looking in, this story is for you. And please, stick around until the very end, because the way this grandmother responded is something we could all learn from. Alright, let's get into it. Music fades slightly. Storytelling tone. Meet Patricia. She's 67 years old, recently retired, and lives about 40 minutes from her son, Daniel, and his wife, Melissa. Daniel and Melissa have 2 boys, Owen, who is 9, and Raymond, who is 12. Patricia adores those boys. She has been a constant presence in their lives since the day they were born. She attended every school play, every soccer game, every birthday. She learned how to braid hair when Melissa was working double shifts. She learned how to cook gluten-free meals when Owen was diagnosed with a food sensitivity. Patricia adapted. Always. Because that's what she does. Owen, her younger grandson, was diagnosed with anxiety and sensory processing disorder 2 years ago. It wasn't easy. He had meltdowns at school, struggled to make friends, and spent a lot of nights crying without being able to explain why. Patricia was there through all of it. She sat with him during the hard nights. She researched therapists. And when the family hit a rough financial patch, Patricia quietly, without being asked, contributed to Owen's therapy costs for almost a full year. She didn't make a big deal of it. She didn't want praise. She just wanted Owen to get better. And slowly, he did. His therapist said he was making remarkable progress. His teacher noticed improvements. Even Melissa, who, if we're being honest, had a complicated relationship with Patricia, even Melissa acknowledged that Owen was doing so much better. Patricia felt hopeful. She thought maybe, just maybe, the rough patches between her and Melissa were smoothing out, that they were turning a corner as a family. Then came the text. Music shifts, slightly tense, still subtle. It was a Thursday evening in early November. Patricia was sitting in her living room with a cup of tea, watching the news, when her phone buzzed. It was Melissa. Now, Patricia told us she actually felt a small flutter of warmth when she saw the name, because Melissa texting her, unprompted, was still somewhat rare. They were civil. They were polite. But warm and spontaneous? Not usually. So she picked up her phone, smiling a little, and opened the message. It read, and I'm going to read this as close to word for word as Patricia shared with us. Hi Patricia. I just wanted to say thank you again for everything you did for Owen this past year. His therapist says he's doing incredible. And we know a lot of that is because of the support he received. We're so grateful. Truly. Patricia said her heart just swelled. She was already typing back. Something warm. Something like, he deserves every good thing. I'm so happy for him. When she scrolled down and saw the message continued. That said, Raymond and I have been talking, and we've decided that this year, we'd really like Christmas to just be us. Our little family unit. We hope you understand. We love you. Patricia said she read it 3 times. Raymond and I have been talking, Raymond, her 12-year-old grandson, was being cited as the co-decision maker in banning his grandmother from Christmas. She set her phone down on the coffee table. She didn't cry right away. She said she just sat there, in the silence, with her tea going cold. And then she said out loud, to no one, "What did I do?" Music. Soft, melancholy. Patricia spent the next few days in a quiet kind of grief. She wasn't angry, not at first. Mostly she was confused. Because there had been no fight, no falling out, no moment she could point to and say, that's when things went wrong. She replayed the last several months in her mind. Had she overstepped? Had she said something to upset Melissa? Had she been too involved with Owen's care and made Melissa feel undermined? She genuinely couldn't find it. She called her daughter, her own daughter, Daniel's sister, and talked through the situation. Her daughter was furious on her behalf. She wanted to call Daniel immediately and give him a piece of her mind. But Patricia said no. She wanted to think about this carefully before anyone said anything. Because here's the thing Patricia understood that perhaps Melissa didn't realize. Patricia knew how to wait. She had waited through hard pregnancies, through financial hardships, through moments in Daniel's life when he pulled away too. She was a patient woman. She had learned that reacting in anger rarely got you the relationship you wanted. It just got you a cleaner conscience for about 48 hours. So she waited. She journaled. And she thought. And what she landed on surprised even herself. Patricia decided she wasn't going to beg. She wasn't going to send a long, emotional reply pleading her case. She wasn't going to call Daniel and make him feel caught in the middle on Thanksgiving. She wasn't going to show up at the door with Christmas cookies as a passive-aggressive power move. Instead, she did two things. First, she responded to Melissa's text. Calmly, kindly. She wrote, "Thank you for letting me know, Melissa. I'm so glad Owen is thriving. That's all I ever wanted. I respect your decision. I'll be thinking of you all on Christmas. Love, Patricia." Short, dignified, no guilt, no drama. Second, and this is the part that really got to me when she shared it, she made a plan for herself. She called her best friend, Carol, and made Christmas plans with her. She signed up for a volunteer shift at her church's Christmas dinner for seniors who had no family nearby. She bought herself a good bottle of wine and a stack of books she'd been meaning to read. She said, "I decided that if I wasn't wanted at their table, I was going to build my own table. And I was going to make it beautiful." She also quietly told Daniel in a private call, not with accusations, just with honesty, how she was feeling. She said, "I love you and I love your family. But I need you to know that it hurt. And I need you to be the one who decides what kind of relationship we have with me going forward. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not going to beg to be included either." Daniel was silent for a long moment. And then he said, "Mum, I didn't know she sent that. I didn't know." Music. Hopeful, gentle. Now, to be clear, this story doesn't have a perfect Hollywood ending. Life rarely does. What happened next was messy and human and real. Daniel had a long conversation with Melissa. There were tears, we're told. There was honesty that was overdue. Some of it was hard to hear for everyone involved. Melissa eventually reached out to Patricia again. The message was longer this time, more honest. She admitted that she had been feeling overwhelmed and, yes, sometimes threatened by how close Patricia was with the boys, particularly Owen. She admitted it wasn't fair to exclude her. She apologized. Patricia accepted the apology. Not because everything was magically fixed, but because she chose to. Christmas, as it turned out, was split. Patricia came on Christmas Eve. Melissa's parents came on Christmas Day. It wasn't the big unified celebration Patricia had once dreamed of. But Owen sat next to her at the table and held her hand before saying grace. And Raymond, 12-year-old Raymond, who had apparently been involved in none of the adult conversations and was baffled to learn his name had been used. Raymond gave her a hug at the door and said, "Grandma, you're my favorite person." And Patricia said that was enough. More than enough. Music swells gently. Here's what I want to leave you with today. Patricia never demanded to be loved. She never manipulated, guilted, or forced her way into that family. She gave freely, stepped back gracefully, and spoke honestly when it mattered. And that quiet, dignified love is what ultimately opened the door. If you're in a similar situation tonight, if you feel like you're giving everything and still being pushed to the edges, please hear this. Your worth is not determined by whether you have a seat at someone else's table. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is build your own. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, that's exactly what makes the other person finally pull up a chair and invite you back. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And let me know. Have you ever been in Patricia's shoes? How did you handle it? Subscribe if you haven't already. We have new stories every week right here. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, love patiently, but never silently. Goodbye for now. Is this script kommutabik muga och random girl ki pick do?